Hello.
Hi, Kanan. Priya here.
Hi, Priya.
And how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Thank you.
That's good. And let's pick. I will be taking your technical route.
Okay.
So let's start with it.
Okay.
I'll be starting with the Java.
Okay.
And okay, so we'll be starting with the OOPS concept first.
Okay.
Suppose there's a method defined in the child class,
hmm
but that method is not present in the parent class.
Okay.
And uh, now let's suppose the child class is B and parent class is A. And now I'm creating the reference A equals to new B.
Okay.
So A dot M2. M2 is the method that is defined in child class and doesn't exist in parent class. What will happen now?
Okay. So at this point of line, it will be giving error because we are taking reference of parent class, and in parent class, this method 2 is not available. So this ID will be giving us like indication that this method is not available in class A or, or parent class.
Okay. Have you used Executor Framework?
Yes, I have used.
Okay. Can you explain?
Okay, so executor frameworks are used in multi-threading environment where uh, we have like when we want to create thread pool because if we have a multi-threaded environment and we don't want to go ahead and again create uh, threads. So what we do, we create thread pools, and with that, all these threads can be reused again and again. We can submit a task, and all the threads will be picking up from that task.
So can you please name the interfaces?
Uh, Interface, this executor itself is an interface, and there are some methods of this executor framework which are like uh, single single thread pool or fixed thread pools. So it will give uh, those number of threads what will be passing there. There are a couple of more methods like cached thread pool, scheduled thread pool, something like that.
Okay. Can you explain me the difference between execute and submit method of
Uh,
this executor framework?
Okay. So execute method does not return anything, and it just execute just some. I mean, it is used to execute the task whatever we are putting into, and submit is also the similar, but it returns a future object. So if any more calculation we require to be doing uh, on this future task, we can do that. So the return type of submit is the future object.
And the return type of execute method is?
Uh, I mean, uh, th- it does not return anything. It has to be void.
Okay. Now coming to Hashmap, I'd like to understand how we can make a Hashmap thread safe.
Okay. So to make a hash map thread safe, I mean, there are two ways. I would say the first one we can use concurrent hash map. Okay, and the second one we can make our hash map. We have a collection dot synchronized map where we can pass our hash map, and it will be converted into synchronized hash map. But this one is a bit slower as compared to concurrent hash map because of locking mechanism which is used in concurrent hash map is way faster.
Okay. So what's the difference between concurrent Hashmap and Hashmap?
Okay. So first of all, this concurrent hash map is thread safe and hash map is not. And if you try to synchronize this traditional hash map, what happens that it will log the whole hash map. And if you compare it with the concurrent hash map, it does not lock the whole object or object. It just locks some segments of that where write operation will be happening. And the concurrent hash map does not uh, throw concurrent modification exception, while in hash map we have concurrent modification exceptions. What it does that if we if we are iterating over our hash map and there are some other threads which is trying to insert, I mean put any element or remove element, it does concurrent modification exception, while in concurrent hash map it does not give, because it makes a copy of that object and iterate over it. Yeah. I'm sorry, Priya, you were not. Yeah.
Okay. So concurrent hash map is fail safe or fail fast?
Concurrent, it's a fail safe. Fail safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you might be using some exceptional handling in your application.
Right.
So can you explain me the difference between exception and runtime exception?
Okay, so exception is like compile time or checked exception. You can do that. You can say that, and runtime exception are unchecked exception. When we have like uh, exception which occurred at runtime, we define as a runtime exceptions, and these are, I mean, we don't have to write the try catch for this runtime exception, but for exception we have to.
And how about throws in exception and runtime exception? When we need to define these throws, mm, this throws keyword can be used with exception or with the runtime exception.
Runtime exception.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Have you used any design patterns in your application?
Design patterns, yes, I have used.
So which all design patterns you are using in your application?
Okay, I have used singleton. I have used factory design pattern. I have used builder as well somewhere. Yeah.
Okay. Can you explain me what is this builder design pattern?
I'm sorry, which one?
Builder design pattern.
Okay, builder design pattern. We have that if we have a scenario like we have a class and it has multiple, I mean many numbers of fields, and we have a constructor for that. So what happens in constructor, uh, what we have that we have to pass those elements, pass those field in a particular way, in a predefined way, so that we can get the object of that. To overcome of this problem, what we have uh, what we can achieve with the builder design pattern, that all the fields are not actually mandatory. You can set one value and get the object. Other values will be as like default one.
Okay. And have you used adapter design pattern?
Adapter, I haven't used it, but I know the concept that whenever we have we want an input and it's in some other format, we need to have a adapter kind of thing which can convert the input in our desired input format. For like a practical example, I can say that if you have a phone and it's an Android, and you don't have a charger for that, but you have a charger for iPhone. So you need an adapter which can convert the input i- output of that charger into your Android um, pattern so that you can use it.
Okay. Can you give me one example in terms of objects?
Okay, in terms of object, okay. Um, mhm. All right. Let's suppose we are, I mean, we have uh, the input which we are expecting is a employee, and the input which we are getting is in terms of uh, student. So we need kind of an adapter to adapt student and convert into employee, something like that.
Okay, so those students are doing executive MBA, for example, we understood in this way because
Okay. Yeah.
okay, cool. So we can have this adapted design pattern in case we want to have a compatible code between the client and the interface. So we want to maintain some compatibility there, and we introduce some adaptive stuff so that it works according to our client or accepts the argument in respect to the client. Okay, so are you working on Java 8?
Yes, I have been using Java 8 for a while now.
That's good. So can you explain me what's the improvement in Java 8 in regards to the out of memory error?
Okay. Regarding the out of memory error. So basically, out of memory we error we get when we have when we fully occupied our POM gen, right? So in Java 8, what they did, they converted this POM gen into a meta space, which can be like which is kind of dynamic inside. It adjusts by itself. So this POM gen kind of error has been removed in Java 8.
Okay. Um, so um, can you tell me why the interface has all methods of object?
I'm sorry, what?
Why interface has all methods of objects? So you have created an interface, okay? And you will right click, you'll see dot equals method, dot hash code method. So why it is there?
Uh, uh, because I believe it is being inherited from object. I mean, the super class of the classes or interface you can say is an object. So because of that, it is being inherited from there.
Uh, so you mean to say interface implicitly inherits or
Object,
from object class?
right? Yeah, this is what I wanted to say.
Okay.
I'm not very sure that this is the answer you were looking for or something else.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No worries. You can explore more about this stuff. And yeah. How about why wait, notify, and notify all? So these are some methods of the object class, right? So why this has been introduced in object class? Though we use this in multi-threaded environment to notify the threads or to tell them, okay, now the resource is available. So why we have actually introduced these three methods in object class, why not in thread?
Okay. So if it has to be in thread, what happens if so you have to go and notify all the threads all alone, and you have to uh, like monitor all the threads all alone. But if you have these methods in object, you can do at the object level. You can monitor all these threads on the object level. You don't have to go on thread 1, thread 2, thread 3 and check all those things on those particular threads. We can do it with the object level itself. So this is the reason I believe that it has been introduced in object class. Clear?
Uh, any further reason why uh, these three methods are defined in object class?
Uh, any further reason? I'm not very sure of that then.
Okay, no worries. Um, can you tell me why this? What's the purpose of this introduction of functional interface in Java 8? We have an interface, and in interface we can have one method. So why we have this functional interface? This annotation.
Okay. So this annotation is introduced in Java 8 to ensure that if you put this annotation in any interface, the 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 functionality of this annotation is to check that this interface had just one abstract method. I mean, it ensures that you will not, if you add this annotation in any interface and you try to add one more abstract method in this particular interface, it will give you uh, like it will notify you that you are trying to add one more abstract method. So to make sure that functional interface just have one abstract method, it does that.
So it means functional interface has been, it serves the purpose of single responsibility. So it's
Right.
like, yeah, one abstract method is defined, so it will only handle one responsibility. So we can put this in a word like single responsibility,
Right.
right?
Right. To make sure, yeah, to make sure that the functional interface has just one responsibility, we have this annotation introduced in Java 8.
Okay, can you name some functional interfaces that you are using in Java 8?
uh, Functional interface, we have like predicate, we have functions, and we have a couple of more. We have consume. These are
Yeah, you're right. Consumer, supplier, and predicate.
predicate and function also, right?
Yeah. Okay. Can you explain me what is blocking queue?
Okay. Blocking queue is a queue which is being used for which can be used for multiple threads, and it makes sure that when queue is empty, uh, nobody can take any. I mean, nobody will try to make any take any element from that queue because the queue is already empty, so you'll not be able to access that queue. And the same manner, if the queue is full, you will not be able to put any element into that. So this is basically used to resolve that consumer producer problem we have in multi-threading.
Okay. Uh, Something from SQL. Okay.
Okay.
Can you tell me how you have a database? Let's suppose it's an employee database, and I'm expecting you to get me the second highest salary of the employee.
Okay, of the employee. So
So
there.
in employee database, you have employee ID, their salary, their name, and let's suppose it's for all departments. It's not for a single department. And for now, I want you to extract the second highest salary of an employee in an organization.
In an organization. So there are two ways we can use it. We can do it with the inner query, where in the inner query we'll be taking the highest salary of this table, and in the outer query we'll have a condition where salary is less than this highest salary. So we'll be selecting that particular uh, mm, what to say particular row, and we have another way to do it with the limit keywords. So we have this limit 1 comma 1. So what it does, it will be giving us the second highest salary.
Okay, so how about fifth highest salary?
Fifth highest salary, then we have to put uh, this 4 comma 1. So limit works
Okay,
with
it's
n.
for the fifth highest salary.
Yeah, limit works with I believe n minus 1 to whatever the how many rows you need. If you need just one row, so you can mention n minus 1 1.
Okay, good. Now I would like you to help me with the database designing. Uh, Suppose I have given you one, you have an employee class, sorry, employee database, and there is department. Now, how you're going to have this employee and the departments, how you're going to relate this employee with the department tables.
Employee with the department tables. Okay, so all right. So we can have two tables. One is employee and one is department. In employee table, we can have employee ID, employee name, and department ID. So that would be the foreign key for employee table, and this foreign key will be pointing to the primary key in department table. In department table, we'll be having department ID and department name. So With this way, we can normalize our table.
Okay, good. Have you used joins in SQL?
Yes, I have done that.
Okay. Can you explain me how many types of joins you have used?
Okay, so we have left out to join, right out to join, self join, and full out to join.
Inner join.
Yeah, inner join as well. Yeah, right.
Okay, cool. That's good. Can you explain the difference between functions and triggers?
Functions and triggers. Okay, so functions is basically used to like if we have uh, any any operation to be performed, and we can write a function, and we will be passing some value into that, and it will be giving us some it will be giving it will be doing some calculation, and it will be giving us results. So function has one return, one value to be returned, and it can have multiple inputs as that. And triggers is basically used when on any kind of tables, like if we have any insert or update or delete, this kind of operation we have on any table, we can write a trigger. So whenever any insert, update, or delete has happened, we can we can define that on these kind of operation, do this. So this way triggers works.
Okay, that's good. Um,
Thanks.
yeah. So I'm done from my side. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I wanted to ask. Uh, I had this question in my mind. When you asked me that wait, notify all, right? It is these methods are part of object class. You said there are a couple of more reasons why this has been introduced in object class. If you can tell me now that what are those reasons, would be wonderful for me to learn these things.
Um, See, so using this wait, notify all. So objects usually communicate with each other using these three methods. So this is one of the reason why this is being introduced in object class.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, so you can say I was expecting you to give me some more reasons why why this has been introduced in object class, and yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Understood.
yeah, yeah. Thank you, Kanan, and wish you all the luck. Thank you.
Thanks, Priya. Thank you so much.